The embarrassment suffered by the Irish Times after publishing a hoax opinion piece about the evils of cultural appropriation involved in using fake tan suggests that the more debate we have in here about truth and falsehood in the media, in the mainstream as well as social media, the better. And where do we get the truth from, and who do we trust to tell us the truth? Well, 3 months ago, I challenged the new Disinformation Strategy Group set up by the Department for Culture and Media to show maximum transparency and openness in its work. I said we did not need a new Ministry of Truth, and that citizens should be enabled to think and to express free thoughts freely. Now, such openness and transparency is vital, given the potential for a strong influence of social media companies on Irish policy. And it's also important since the Future of Media Commission, which recommended the setting up of the strategy group, wants the group to be an early shaper of the code of practice for the European Digital Services Act. Well, how has the Disinformation Group fared? It has published only procedural minutes, and those for just 2 of at least 3 meetings held by the 24th of March. And I challenge you to find those minutes, by the way. Much more transparency is needed around the group's discussions. Its original terms of reference are hard to find anywhere. The published revised terms make no mention of addressing falsehood, only undefined disinformation, but without a clear declaration that truth is the focus of the group's work. Many people will be rightly suspicious of its agenda, its focus, its priorities. Now, the Future of Media Commission's report expressed a view that Ireland should be a leader in public policy and innovation to enhance online trust and safety while protecting freedom of speech, and I emphasise those words. And while it is true that the strategy group terms of reference acknowledge the importance of free, independent, high-quality journalism, the same freedom of speech for ordinary citizens is not mentioned anywhere. And omitting this wider context from the terms is worrying, given that freedom of expression is a basic building block of democratic society, whereas countering disinformation is an optional, subordinate role of government. Now, people want to source accurate and true information, not viewpoints funneled through state-sponsored channels, which are inevitably politicised. And in that regard, I would urge the strategy group to question the narrative that fact-checkers, often politicised, necessarily lead us to the truth. I think citizens should be very vigilant about the work of this strategy group and monitor its output. But back briefly, to the Irish Times. We've heard a lot about the need for source checking, identification checking, and the dangers of AI-generated content and images. Well, we don't know whether the Irish Times saw this article as controversial clickbait or whether it was trying to open up a new front in identity politics. But we do know that the piece wasn't presented in jest, and that fact alone suggests an editorial office in perhaps the state's most influential newspaper that's sufficiently infected by the woke virus that it can't tell the difference anymore between a stateable argument and a piece of ideological insanity. And I think that should certainly concern us.
Thank you.